Hello, I want to talk to you about a very strange place in Texas. It's in Waco, Texas, to be exact. It's called Cameron Park in Waco, Texas. There's several things going on there that are quite unusual. One thing is it's called the Witch's Castle. Sometimes called the Witch's House. It's quite a well-known story in Waco. There's some variations on this story, but it has to do with a woman that lived out in a desolate area of the woods. She lived alone. She was rather sneaky, rather harsh, maybe you could even say demonic looking. She was not the kind of person that you wanted to get too close to. She was the kind of person that as things grew wrong, multiple things happening around the area where people lived, people going missing, people getting a bunch of bad luck with their crops. They seemed to want to blame it on this strange woman that lived alone deep in the woods. Eventually the residents of the area had enough. They paid the woman a visit, but not a friendly visit. They paid her a visit and they burned her house to the ground while she was inside of it. Another part of the story, or version of the story, had to do with another young boy. The young boy had supposedly lured his friends out, either into the area by the woman's house or to the woman's house. Was he offering his friends to this woman that everyone perceived to be a witch? We'll never know, but many of the young people in the area were missing, and eventually the area had had enough. They took to the woman's house, and not in a nice way. They burned the house to the ground with the woman in it. Either way, she's been known to be seen roaming the forest. Some people say they see a look of this older woman with a glowing kind of lantern. And they wonder if she's looking for the children. No one quite knows. Oh, and there's supposed to be a witch's castle in the woods. Now this is supposed to be quite a unique place. Supposedly this was surrounded by concrete and brick walls. She even had moats around the outside to protect the area. And one thing that people noticed that went into the area is that there was a very foul smell. Was this foul smell from dead bodies? Or was this foul smell from a contact with the devil? Or is this some of his minions? And when people approached this house, they found a great apprehension. They felt some kind of energy in the area. Sometimes they say that they felt the area general in the area, and then at times they said it felt like there was some kind of energy that seemed to be surrounding them, going around, like they're being stalked. And people did manage to find this. Its ruins right now are quite broken up. They did find an unusual odor. They found some of the stairs, some of the walls, and they really did not feel like exploring too much because it gave them a foreboding. Kind of a feeling deep inside their stomachs that made them feel like they should leave. They don't want to see what's in there. Another legend, there was a woman that was the nanny for the Cameron family, and she would go along with the children to protect them when they went out in the woods. Eventually the woman fell sick, died. What she died from is unknown, but she disappeared for a while. And then the bums and the vagrants in the area, they would find that they would see a ghost. So here goes walking through the park, through the forest. This ghost looked frantic, like this ghost had lost the children. If this entity, this spirit, this energy got too close to you, this woman, you could actually feel it like you were being shoved back harshly. Then there's a spot out there in Cameron Park. A couple of men, they went out there and they stole horses back in the 1800s. And unfortunately, these men were captured. And justice was swift and final. They were captured and were hanged from a tree on Lindsay Hollow Road in Cameron Park. Now, the people that drive or hike in the area of Lindsay Hollow have been known to see bodies hanging from a tree. There's also a story that carries great sadness with it. There's of two lovers, supposedly two lovers from two opposing tribes. There were two Indian factors out there, and unfortunately two of the younger people from the tribes fell in love, but they weren't in the same tribe. This didn't sit well with either side. Here you were, not only colluding with the enemy, but threatening to love the enemy. That just wasn't working. And eventually, the two lovers were caught, surrounded. They were up on a cliff. The cliff they now call Lover's Leap. Basically, they had a choice. Surrender, and give up being with each other, or what they chose was to wrap their arms around each other and leap from this cliff, going to their death. Some people in the area say that you can sometimes see the figures, sort of glowing figures on the cliff. So if you go to Cameron Park in Waco, Texas, in that area, I would recommend don't go alone. You've got to be quite aware of your surroundings and what's happening. There are numerous entities floating through the forest. Some of them lovers, some of them witches. Which one will you run into? Anyway, that's it for Witch's Castle in Cameron Park, Waco, Texas. Please like,
Subscribe, share, feel free to leave a comment. Thanks for your time. Thank you for watching. Take care, everybody. Back later.